as you're working on your animal illustration, you might get to a point like I am at, where if I hide the photo, I've actually drawn in kind of the main features of my animal. But what I noticed right away, and I hope you notice too, is that not all of the shapes are exactly matching the panda. For instance, I know a panda's ear is not a perfect circle, and yet one of the ears I left kind of as a circle. I'm sure his triangle nose is, even if it's triangular, it's not going to be perfect triangle like this. And you'll notice that like where his paws are is pretty blocky. So there's still a lot of work to be done on this, and this is the part that actually takes a lot of time in Illustrator, is getting all of those parts to look right. I'm going to turn the photo back on and I'm going to continue editing my shapes. So for instance, I'm going to go to this ear and I'm going to click on, double click using my white selection tool here, and I'm just going to adjust where these are positioned, just like I did in my other video. But I just want to review this because this is a pretty tough concept. Some of you have parts of the animal cut off of the page, so you may have to guess in terms of some object that's going off the page there. I'm going to just flatten the ear a little bit. This looks pretty good, and already you can see just by moving those points a little bit that the ear looks a lot more realistic than if it was just a perfect circle. Remember that any of the points that you want to convert to a curve, you just click on it with the white arrow and then click up here to convert, and it makes it rounded, and just doing that in itself will actually make it look a lot better. Sometimes you get this where it pops out more than you want, so you have to tweak the handles a little bit. So I'm going to grab this handle. Now you may have noticed that the handles are connected, so when you move one, it moves the other one. So the way I get around this is I push one of the handles in closer to the anchor point, and that makes it less likely to kind of push out. In this case it doesn't matter that much because this part of the panda is kind of cut off. I don't really need to worry about the points over here because these ones are going to be covered up in the in my final image, so I'm just going to leave those alone. But I will, like this one right here needs to be converted, and it's tricky because I have to figure out, you know, with the panda being furry, it's kind of tricky to get it exactly you know, the right body shape. But I can even click on a line segment. You might have heard that term in math. I'm going to move this right here, move this here, and so on. You guys can see this is where a lot of the work comes in. So it's going to take a lot of back and forth and adding points and removing points, and you want to get it to a point where you're really happy with how the animal is shaped overall. And I would get some feedback from your classmates on this as well. I'm going to do this here. I'm adding curves, as you can see. And I want you to keep working on this until you get some feedback. Like his nose looks kind of funny to me right now, so I'm going to just add some curves here. And I'm probably going to have to adjust these curves because they're going to be too rounded maybe. Let me look at the picture. So it's a little tall, so I'm just going to, oops, always can hit Command Z. I'm just going to grab one of the handles on each side and just sort of adjust it a little bit. It's a lot of back and forth is what it is. So now if I hide the photograph again, the nose looks a little bit better. Same with the mouth, I can work on that. So I want to work on this until it looks really good, until I'm really happy with it, before I start adding the color.